are back. This is the second episode slash segment slash whatever y'all want to call it. But yeah, we're back.
It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Exactly. We're back and it's Tuesday. So we're talking about Clipper mods, or not Clipper mods, but just Barber mods in all ways, shapes, and forms. Y'all probably know from my page and from Fade's page that we like mods, or that we've done mods. I don't know if you like them. I'm assuming, just because I know that you work on a lot of stuff. But yeah, let me get your perspective on it. What do you think about modifying your clippers and trimmers and other stuff?
All right. So modifications. Before I knew of anything, I started modifying. You know what I'm saying? I started cutting hair, and then I started seeing stuff that I was like, this needs to be different, in my opinion. Like, before I knew about the legends and then their extension and everything, I was cutting hair, and I was always wondering, like, why my cordless walls don't go as far as my masters.
Was it because you were struggling from the no guard to the one guard or to the half guard, or was it just because you saw that there was a difference?
I just saw that there was a difference.
Okay.
Physically seen a difference. Not that I was having I was struggling with every haircut back then, fool. Every haircut I was struggling with, any clipper, it didn't matter.
Okay.
But I was like, doesn't that make sense? Think about it, fool. You get the cutting blade to move further away, right? Yeah. Which we know that by moving the lever, the further away the cutting blade gets, the longer the hair is, right?
Yeah.
So why would you not give yourself the most advantage?
There is an answer to that. You're not going to like the answer to that, but the reason why some companies have chosen not to do it is because there's less tension and friction when the cutting blade is that far away from, or is that from the tips or from the wider openings of the teeth on the blades. So it doesn't cut as consistently as if it's closer to the top. So it's just like if you use a clipper at the close position, it will cut. It'll cut the same as an open one, but it won't cut as precisely, I guess is the best way of saying it. It might miss a hair or two. It won't catch everything as precisely as a close clipper. So a lot of companies were afraid to go too long. Does that make sense? I actually read up into this, and that's the reasoning that they give. It could also be a bunch of bullshit, but
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of BS in my opinion, because we move that lever every time we want it to be longer. We all do. Every single barber out there, you guys do it. So why not give yourself even more? So the very first mod I ever did to any of my clippers, I had at this time was a regular senior. It was corded senior. So then I seen that my masters would open up. I had bought the fade master. Okay, so my very first clipper, as we know, was a 76er.
Yeah.
Then I bought a Super Taper 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they're called? Super Taper?
Yep, that's a popular one. Yep.
Super Taper 2000. And then after baseball practice, one of my son's baseball practice, I went to Bunny's, or a place in Kansas City called Bunny's. Mm-hmm. And I bought a Fade Masters.
Okay. So the fade blade masters,
the masters with the fade blade. Mm-hmm. But I was like, damn, I need it for fades, and it says fade in the name, bro. So
it's got to be the right one.
It's got to be the one that I did. I swear to God, bro. I went and I bought that thing, and then I was like, oh my God, look how much it opens. Look how much it opens. And then I'm pulling hair literally out of the scalp,
Ugh.
Because I didn't know how to use it.
It's so thin. That blade is ridiculously thin.
I love it now. Now that I understand
use it. Yeah, you know how to use it. Yeah.
I didn't know how to use it then. I was
whoever's out there that's starting to cut, be careful with that blade, because you're gonna pull some hairs.
You wanna slow down for one, and then you wanna glide it. Okay, you don't want to scoop, because you'll pull the hair out of the follicle out of the head.
Close into the skin. It's gonna
right. All right, so then I got that thing, and then I was like, damn, why is it open so much? It might be broken, right?
Yeah.
It's possibly broken, because this wall doesn't open like this. But then I started looking at it, I was like, the teeth are longer. Damn. All right, you know what? I think I can make this one open. So then I freaking started grinding out the back side of my bracket with the little Dremel tool.
Yeah.
And I grind it out, and then I opened it, and I was able to open it up all the way.
All the way. Huh?
Well, my first, I ain't gonna say that I got it right on the first time because I'm gonna lie, because I put it to where it opened up too much,
Yeah.
and then it started pulling the hair because the factory teeth on it was the
They're not deep
gray.
enough. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not deep
exactly.
enough.
It was the gray senior.
Yep.
So it came with the taper blade with the 3 holes.
Oh, the taper blade's even worse. I thought it was a fade blade. Even the fade blade is not deep enough.
Yeah, the fade blade's not even deep enough, but it was the gray one with the 3 holes.
Yeah, the OGs.
So I had that one, and I was opening it up all the way, and then I just straight pull the hair out of the head. It was horrible. So that was my very first modification. So my very first modification, needless to say, was not a success. So what did I do? I went to a segunda. I started looking around. I got another wall. I was able to take the slide off of it, put it back on it, tried it again. Then I found out about the fade blade. Then I put the fade blade on it. And then I was able to grind off enough to where it would open, and it would all cut, even all the way open full.
Yeah.
So then, boom, I have an extension. And then I ended up stumbling across for a 60, like $50, 50 or $60 for a brand new Wall Legends.
Nice.
So I was like, shit, bet. It was a place called Cargo Largo.
Yeah.
I got that.
Those are meant for that because they got the wedge blades. It's a little deeper and everything, right?
Right. So then I used it, and I was like, damn, this thing opens up as much as my Masters.
Yep.
Out of the box, I didn't even have to do any modifications. So then I started using that. It was over.
Yeah. Well, you found something that made sense to you. And the thing about it is you started with the Masters, right? From what it sounds like, as far as like an adjustable lever, like that was one of your first. It was the Fade Master.
It was the second one. My first one was a gray seniors.
The seniors, okay. But you got comfortable
with whoa. Let me rewind. The Super Taper 2000s was the number one. Taper 2000s,
yeah.
And then it went to the gray seniors.
And it didn't throw you off to use a master. See, most people would have been the other way around. It's like, I don't like how this masters opens up. That's what I hear from everybody today. Like, I'm constantly hearing like, yeah, I wanted to try out the masters or the JRLs or whatever, but as soon as I tried them, the lever was would open up too much, and it threw off my cutting style, so I don't like it. And I'm like, well, just figure out a different cutting style. You could probably gain something from it.
I loved it more, dog, because you don't want to know what? The number one problem I had for the longest time, and I'm sure a lot of you people out there have had this, is from the half guard open to the no guard open.
Yeah.
That, I was always so shy, and I was so scared that I would only go up so high. But then I got the Legends. I opened up the half guard. Man, I took that all the way up to where I left off with the number 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the range.
That's the range. It does that. Well, it's a 1 guard and something. You know what I mean? Which you could play with big time.
Right. Exactly. So used in the corner, I went all the way up to where I left off with that 3. And then my blend started coming together. And then
you figured it out. I don't think people realize this. It's like blades or mods or clippers or tools don't always work best for you because there's a certain way that you move a clipper with your hand. You know what I mean?
Right.
Me, I never open my lever past halfway with my no guard ever. Like you'll see, look at all my cuts. You'll notice that I don't open the lever all the way up because for some reason, when I cut with no guard on, my head goes to, when I get to the middle, my hand just naturally just pulls out. It just pulls out, and it gives me a perfect cut from a half open no guard to a 0 mid guard. It's weird, but that's just the way that's just the way I cut, because I technically flick out, I guess you could say. I think I float out. I float the clipper out with the 0 guard. With other guards, I don't. Like, it's almost like the guard makes sense for me to go take it all the way up to where it's supposed to go. But with the no guard, my hand just naturally does that. Everyone has a different way of cutting. Some modifications are perfect for some people, and some are just like, you can make it perfect. You can change the blade and do all this and go get high RPM and all this, but it ain't gonna work for you. You might hate it, to be honest with you, or you might love it.
Yeah, that was my first modification, fool.
Yeah.
But then I bought the Wall 1919s, and then I didn't like them, fool. I didn't like them at all. Matter of fact, I was gonna put them back in the box and just store them and keep them as a limited edition
Yeah, just
anniversary.
a good looking clipper. Yeah.
Except for one day that I was downstairs in my barber station, and then I was like, man, if only I could put this blade on this clipper. And then I was like, why not? They're both walls.
Yeah.
So let me take all of the hardware off of this corded clipper and put it on this cordless clipper.
Yeah.
And then that's when I gave birth to my second modification, which was the cordless Wall Legends.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite clippers that you have. Just even thinking about it makes me happy. I genuinely think that Walls dropped the ball there. But then I don't know, like they've dropped the ball, but I'm afraid of them trying to make it happen. Although it's Wall and I trust that they would do it right. So the only reason why I say this is like you keep saying that, right? One of the biggest mods out there that I can think of is putting that GTX or the T outliner blade on the slim lines. How many people have done that? Like that was a very popular mod for the longest time. I know you've done it.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. I loved it.
Yeah. Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But hey, I got a new video coming out where I'm gonna take all of the insides of that Andy Slimline Pro Li, and I'm gonna put it in the Andy's residential one, which fits the Wall detailer blade. It slides like literally, it's a plug and play.
Nice.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the internals from the Slimline Pro Li and have the detailer blade on it.
Like correctly put on there, not with any modifications aside from you changing the insides of it. That's dope.
Right. Yeah, but I'm gonna do that.
Heard it here. There's a new video coming out.
It's gonna be on my channel. I'm gonna do that.
That's what's up.
I don't think it should be too hard, but not that my freaking GTX slimlines ain't hitting. They hit, fool. I have a video on them on my channel at Face by Morales.
Yeah.
Make sure you like that.
See, but the thing about it is then Andis did that. Like they sell it now, right? They sell the slim lines with
right.
The popular opinion is that they don't do that well. That they do good for maybe putting down a line. Like you say, they do hit, but it's a very slow moving blade. Like the blade, it's so you know that they only have
not good for balding out.
Yeah.
Not good for balding out at all.
And even for certain hair, it's only got 5,500 RPMs naturally with the little blade. Okay,
right.
It's a rotary trimmer. Majority of rotary trimmers have 55 to max 6,500. The only one that goes above that is the Babyliss one, right? So 55 to 65. Yeah, so it's at the lowest of it, and then you put a heavier blade. It probably moves at about 51 to 5,200 RPMs. So it's a very slow moving trimmer. Probably is not great for balding. I don't know. You have it. You could share if it's good for balding or not.
No, it's not.
There you go.
I'll tell you, it's not. I mean, it's good for balding kids, but no, not for thick hair. Matter of fact, today, if you look at my Instagram, you can see that I did what you said, a wilderness cut.
Yeah, the wilderness.
I did a wilderness cut. Well, all I had with me, the only trimmers I took today were that $7 trimmer that I got from Wish. Remember?
Yeah.
That's the only trimmer I had today, dog.
That's
I had to bald out with it because I didn't take my freaking detachables. So I had to bald out with it and line up with it, carnal.
That's what's up. Hey, if it works, it works though.
It worked really good. You could hear it struggling though.
I remember when you did that video of like comparing them, it balded. It might not be the best at it, but it still balded out.
But if you see the thickness of the hair and that
he's got some thick ass hair.
He had thick hair.
Yeah,
that little trimmer was like, it did all kinds of
That's
funny. It was crazy, bro.
That's funny. What's your favorite mod out there? Because here's the deal: is we went from modifying our own stuff to now companies sending you mod kits and modifications and all this stuff. What's your thoughts on that, first of all? Because here's the deal. I know for a fact that you've made mods on things that other people claim to be theirs or now sell them and have a, what's that called? Patent on them or whatever.
Right.
You know, hundreds of people did it before them, right? Like people don't realize that it's like people have been doing that for years. It's just that somebody said, you know what, I could sell this, which is pretty awesome and it's an amazing idea. But what do you think about that? Like instead of you yourself as a barber knowing your tools and modifying them yourself, you just going out and buying them. What's your thoughts on that?
So what I think you're talking about is when I put the master blade on my wall. What was it? It was the magic clips.
Yeah.
It was way before anything else, any other modifier you could say did it.
Well, they did it publicly, right? Because I bet
Well,
you they did
publicly, yeah.
their own. Like I bet you there was hundreds of people that did it before, but no one would say, "Oh, look, I'm putting it out to the world," just like you did. You put it out because of your YouTube channel at one point, but you did it way before.
Right. You know, and you know what's so crazy, Carnal? Everything that I like, even my barbering, my charging stands and all of that. Nobody has ever did any of those before me. And you know that, dog.
I know that. And now I see them. I saw the wall charger and I was like, I mean, it's not the same as yours, right? But it's the same concept. You're putting it on a dock and you can charge it.
Right. So I don't know. I've never done anything for cloud or anything, try to be the first on anything, fool. You know that. I was always modest. I made them and then I would show my homies. I'd show you, I'd show the cojonudos. But hey, look at what I did.
Yeah.
The charging stand for the wall trimmer, for the Babyliss trimmer. That was the very first one ever. I don't even know if there is any more out there, but
yeah, but I think the concept of this is you did it for yourself, right? You did it for your benefit. So you needed to charge you for those things. And you're like, you know what? I know the way my tools work. I've opened them up before. I know how these, like, the basics of electrical. I can make this happen myself. There's other ones that have chargers to them. Let me open them up and see how they work. I could do this myself. That I feel like was a part of barbering at one point. I remember going to the barber shop and seeing my barber, if he was struggling with his machine, just take it apart, do something to it, put it back together, get back on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Having like that drawer of like a bunch of old stuff and like creating things out of it. You know what I mean? And nowadays is like, now I'm going to go buy it from X, Y, and Z. I'm going to just go ahead and buy that clipper mod from X. And I was like, it's probably like $3 for you to do it, right? Like,
right. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's so much more. It's fun to modify stuff. You'd learn something out of it. You learn way more about your machine that you didn't know. So y'all have seen my video of the 50 cal masters, right? The original bracket that I put on them and I shouted on the video, Fade sent it to me, which was working fine, right? But it wasn't the original bracket from the 50 cals. It was a wall bracket, right? Just like the ones that you're buying for your 50 cals. It's just a wall bracket with the holes in a certain spot. And you can put it onto a 50 cal because it has the same type of bracket insert, but there's some very small differences, like in thicknesses and like the way that the holes are set, very tiny differences that will mess a little bit with the clickiness, or it'll make the blade move a little bit to a certain way. So it probably won't bug you, but if you're me, which I have OCD, it will bug you. It'll bug me. So what I did is like, I asked Paige, like, how do you do this? I just tell me how you do this and I want to try, and I'm going to do it on my original bracket so I can gain the best version of this modification. And he told me what to buy, and he showed me how to do it. While I was doing it, I also watched Eddie's video on how to modify the master's blade onto a wall clipper. So I had the visual, I had Morales tell me how to do it. So then I go in and I do it myself. And I remember telling Fades, I'm like, that was really easy. Like that was really, really easy.
Hey, but you did one thing that neither me nor Eddie did, dog. Hey, and it's super smart. And this is where your smarts come in. You had your old lady help you.
Yeah. I had some help so I could set the blade in the right spot, because that's the hard part.
Somebody marked the holes.
To mark the holes, right? So I said it. I'm like, hey, put some Sharpie on this thing real quick for me.
See, as simple as that is.
Yeah.
That transferred the entire process, because trust me, doing it by yourself, it's a beast. It's a beast.
Yeah, it is. But if you can wiggle around some of that stuff, the technical aspect, if you know how to use a power drill, if you know how to, use a, what do you call it? I don't even know what it's called, but the one that sets the
that's a
topper.
A tap. It's a
Yeah, a
tap.
tap. There you go. So if you know how to use a tap, like it's actually really easy to do yourself. And you're using your original bracket. You're not buying see, here's the deal is most of these brackets are selling you, they're buying them by hundreds, by thousands, or they're making them by hundreds, thousands.
Chinese brackets, yeah.
They're not the best quality, but they could even be better, but it's still not your bracket for your machine, your original OEM, whatever you want to call it, bracket for your machine. So it's not going to give you the same exact feel. And if you have OCD like I do, it might bug you. Full honesty, it bugged me. So I made it, I put it on my clipper, and I love it. It's my favorite clipper for that reason, because it's perfectly, it feels like it came like that from factory, because I did it on my own bracket. So modifying your own tools, I think, to me is very important. You know,
there's also one other modification that is a must. What's the most common modification, and it's the most must modification?
I can think of the most popular one of all time, but a lot of people don't think about this anymore because it's a Cortex trimmer. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's skeleton your T outliners.
Yeah, skeleton your T outliners.
So here's the fun part about this. I know why you're bringing it up. I had never done it before. I had T outliners and I didn't like them because I didn't know anything about that 15 years ago when I was cutting hair. I knew nothing about modifying, how to set tensions. There was no YouTube in Mexico 15 years ago for me when I was cutting hair. You know what I mean? I didn't know anything about this.
Right.
Yeah, and Fades kept telling me like 4 or 5 years ago, like not 4 or 5 years, a couple years ago when we first started talking, he's like, hey, dude, like that's the best trimmer. Like if you set it right, if you do the tension, if you do this, if you do that, it'll hit. And I'm like, dude, it never hit for me. Like it just didn't hit for me. So I made it a point because he sent me those corded detachables, and I had a pair of masters just sitting in my graveyard. I'm like, I'm gonna put a blade on my masters. I'm gonna go buy me a T outliner because I have a spare blade, and I'm gonna skeleton that thing. I'm gonna set the tension on that thing, and I'm gonna see if it's real. I want to have that experience of doing the mod, and oh, bro, those things hitting.
Oh, I love it.
I've cut three heads with them. I did my own hair a few days ago with them. I did my edge up on my beard with them, bro. They're so smooth. And I did you know me, I have OCD. I went in and I cut it, and then I used my Dremel to like round it out. It looks like it's factory made. It's a beautiful trimmer.
Hey, put it right there.
Bam, you're gonna see it right there.
Right,
see it right there.
You're right there.
In the middle.
All right there. Yeah. I don't know what side I'm gonna be on.
You'll see it. Yeah.
Put it on there.
But my point is, I think people should still modify their tools. I think there's tools that you can't. So like, I'll mention one company because I'm very close to this company. I've used them before, and I'm gonna give them a shout out, which is Elite Clipper Mods. They created something that I can't create. I don't have a 3D printer and like the perfect way of creating, cam followers and blade setters and stuff like that. So they went above. They didn't just drill some holes in something and change some parts out. Is they created parts for your trimmers to put certain blades that you might love that are not being used in the right machines. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about is a T outliner. The corded ones are apparently not great. You know what I mean? So there's
cordless.
Trimmers.
You mean cordless ones?
Cordless ones. My bad. The cordless ones are just not great. But there's other trimmers that are great, and if you put the blade on them, it'd be great. So they did that. They have a lot more stuff. Go check them out. Elite Clipper Mods. I'll put them down below. Hit up Nello. Tell him Ivy Max sent you. Cool ass dude. But there's things that you can't mod yourself. That's what I'm trying to get to. But the things you can mod yourself, I think you should. I think you should do it.
Right.
I think you should do it. Don't just go out and buy it. And I'm not trying to take away from people's business. That's not what this is about. But I think that it helps you understand your tools better, and it'll help you cut hair better because you know the way your tools work. To me.
And a modification that people overlook is just your regular wall seniors if they're corded. Tightening that screw until the screw on the side, it's gonna make a really loud sound. It's gonna go, eh. Okay, then back it a quarter of a turn to where it stops making that sound. That's maximum power.
Yeah, so you're setting the tension on it.
Exactly. So it's all about, those are magnetic motors. Okay, so there's a metal arm that has a magnetic impulse that pushes it up against the magnetic, and then the magnetic impulse releases.
Yep.
And it brings it back to where its original place is, right? Okay, so the further your arm is, the larger the distance that it covers, which gives you a smoother cut.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
you also got to be careful not to take it too far.
Too far
The
because
feel will be lost and you don't have enough
exactly.
power. So you want to
Exactly.
find that sweet spot between. See, I learned all this from you doing the T outliners. You want to find the sweet spot before it's too far out, or if it's too close. If it's too close, it's too much power, not enough distance. If it's too far out, it's too much distance, not enough power. If you find that sweet spot, you're in it. It's money. Money. Yep. So that's my perspective on modifications. Obviously, Fades is a modifier himself. He's taught me a lot of things about modifying tools. I continue to modify my tools. I like changing blades out. I like cutting things and making things happen on my tools. I will always do so. I'm inviting you, if you've never opened up your tools before, to fully open them up. I understand what's inside of them. YouTube is a hell of a thing. You could find so many different videos on how to do crazy things. You can find some of that stuff on my channel and definitely on Fade's channel. You can learn how to put a GM, what do you call it, plug on your Cortex clippers so that you have a one cable system for your clippers. If you go look at Morales's latest videos, but there's a lot more stuff you could do with it. Is there anything that you would like to add to this conversation before we move on? Fades.
I know you guys are going to be afraid to break your investment, and it's scary, but get in there, get a screwdriver, open it up, get inside your clippers so that you understand how they work. Then you can make all the modifications. Once you understand how they work, modifications come later. Don't try modifications without knowing how it works. 100%. All right. So
100%. All right. So this was modifications. You heard it from me. You heard it from Fades. We are definitely for it. Before we move on to the next episode, though, I do want to tell y'all about something that's dropping in my channel tomorrow. I have a video on how to cut a kid's undercut in the back of a kid's hair. Different, right?
Damn,
the undercut back of a kid's hair, my daughter specifically.
Oh, a girl?
Yeah, so girl's hair, back of the head. It's been becoming more and more popular. I thought it'd be pretty cool if y'all have kids out there and your daughters or your sons, if they have long hair, if they want an undercut in the back, throw a little design action in there for you. I'm not doing designs, but hey, it is what it is. I'll share with y'all. But yeah, make sure you tune in tomorrow to my channel, Ivy Mac Cuts. We'll be dropping. I can't give you the time yet because I'm spontaneous on that, aka it's whenever I have time.
Whatever.
But yeah, that's something going on my channel. Is there anything you want to plug before we move on, Fades?
Yeah, I'll be dropping my Babylist Frank the Barbers. I got the unboxing, product review, and I got the little sample clips of me using them. I did a design on my son and whatnot. Yeah, so I'll be dropping that probably Wednesday, tomorrow.
Okay. So you're gonna have a lot of content.
Don't hold me to that, but yeah, I'm dropping something sometime this week.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, you're gonna have more content from us aside from this channel. Make sure you go check us out on our personal channels. They're right up above. So, and
don't forget to go to Instagram.
Yes.
Hey, and follow Barber Clips Podcast on Instagram. Barber Clips _podcast.
There you go.
On Instagram.
Make sure you follow us. All right. We'll catch you all in the next segment.